welcome back to Champion the Passion, a weekly pro wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. I'm your host. My name is Victoria Daisy, and today we're going to be recapping everything that happened last night on Friday Night Smackdown. But before we get started, don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. But let's dive right in, because the opening segment was a gag and a half, okay? We started off with the American Nightmare with our undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes, okay? So Cody came out being electric as always. They were in London in the O2 Arena, so you already know those international crowds are lit. I've been talking about them every week that they've been on the road. And so Cody got on the mic to start talking about how on Monday Night Raw next week, we will see John Cena and Cody Rhodes face-to-face once again, which is honestly a gag, and I'm so happy that as we're getting closer to WrestleMania, we're seeing more of John Cena, because if we barely saw any of him during this whole storyline with Cody, I mean, it would have sucked. So I'm very happy that he's finally doing more dates. But before he could continue talking, the Viper, the apex predator, his mentor, Randy Orton, comes out and interrupts him. And I was gagged. I was like, okay, what's going on? Where is this leading to? And of course, Randy had to kind of put a bunch of fluff around what he was coming out to actually say, but it's okay. So Randy said that he's usually not the sentimental type, but for Cody and London, he is. He talked about how he remembers Cody when he was young and he remembers when he left the company, but he did say that Cody changed the industry the moment he stepped foot back in the WWE in 2023. Hello. I just saw 3 in my head and I went to 2013. Anyways, 2023 at WrestleMania in Dallas when he was the mystery opponent for that match with Seth Rollins. That was crazy. That's one of my Roman empires. Like, I honestly think about that all the time. And he said that Cody is in charge of his own legacy and it's an honor to watch it. Then he said that Cody changed the industry the moment he stepped foot back in the WWE all the way, WrestleMania 38 in Dallas when he was the mystery opponent for Seth Rollins. That was in 2023. That was a fantastic, electric moment, and that electricity still runs through him till this day. And he said that Cody is in charge of his own legacy and that it's an honor to watch. But in all of this, he still loves and respects Cody. And before I get to what the bomb said, the crowd was crashing out the entire time. If you guys have been watching the international shows, then you know that the crowd sings this Cody Rhodes song. It really makes us US fans suck, because like, even though we get shows all the time, like, why aren't we that energetic? Why aren't we singing songs? Okay. So they were singing Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. And then they also did that for Roman later on in the night where they're like, Roman Reigns. We'll get to that later because there's so much tea with that. But back to this, Randy, saying that he loves and respects Cody, but he said that he is going to kick Kevin so hard in the head. And I was like, okay. Then he said, after all the smoke clears, after John Cena goes after number 17, there's going to be a time where Randy goes after number 15. And he said that when the time comes, he will go to Cody dead in the eyes and come for the title. I mean, the absolute gaggery it will be when Randy is our undisputed champion. I can't even imagine that. I haven't seen Randy champion in so long, and I need it now. I mean, I don't want Cody to ever lose that title because he's my king and I just never want him to lose it. But you know what? One day it's going to happen, unfortunately. I really hope it's not WrestleMania 41. I think I'll cry. But then Drew McIntyre comes out, which Drew always weasels himself into every scenario. It's so funny. So Drew said that all of this is making him sick. We know he has no heart. He's like the Grinch. Drew McIntyre is the Grinch. He told Randy to get back in line because he wants the title first. He said that if Randy provokes him, he'll snap his back in half, which we know is all hanging on by a thread. And then he went to say something to Cody. But before he could, Cody and Randy dropped him. And that was pretty much the end of the segment. But what I've kind of collected from this is that Randy wants that title. And you know what? He's not going to chase it. He's going to be respectful. He's going to chase it after WrestleMania. But I'm here for this mentor versus Cody situation. I am so here for this. I'm stressing out about WrestleMania 41 because I really don't want John Cena to win number 17. Actually, let me rephrase that. I do want him to win number 17, but not at the cost of Cody Rhodes losing the championship, because that just breaks my heart. So let's move on into the first match of the evening, which was for the WWE World Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits defending against Pretty Deadly. Now, this was a great match. I mean, you guys know how much I love the SmackDown's men's tag team division, and this match just proves how good it actually is. And there was so much action and creative moves, and what I loved is that this was a hometown show for Pretty Deadly, since they were in London and that's where they're from. So it was really nice to see them get all that love that they really do deserve. And I thought both teams worked really well together, and they're just so entertaining on their own and together. I just really loved it. But in the end, the Street Profits retained. Then the next match was Kaden Carter and Katana Chance versus Piper Niven and Alba Fire. This was an okay match. Wasn't my favorite. Nothing crazy. But in the end, Piper Niven and Alba Fire won. And then after the match, everyone kind of just started brawling. And while I thought something bigger was going to happen, to my surprise, nothing happened. All right. Next, though, we've got some tea here. We've got a United States Championship match, LA Knight defending against Braun Strowman. Now, this was a great match, okay? The men's mid-card division, specifically on SmackDown, is honestly so amazing and never disappoints. I rave about them every week because they're just that good. And this match was filled with crazy moves and energy, but to take it up a notch, Jacob Fatu interferes and ends the match to violently attack not only LA Knight, but Braun Strowman. And this storyline with Jacob is getting so good. I really do think one day he's going to be our World Heavyweight Champion, and I cannot wait for it. It is just so good. But that was pretty much all that happened here. Later in the night, we had a Bloodline 2.0 backstage segment that I'll actually just talk about right now because I think it makes sense. But basically, Jacob was getting mad at Solo, and Solo was getting mad at him. Like, it was a whole thing, cousin drama, been there, done that. And Jacob was basically saying, like, bro, like, you are never there for me anymore. You're costing me matches. You're in my way. And Solo's like, bro, I'm just trying to be there for you. And Tama's just kind of just in the back, like, just lurking. But I'm really loving what they're getting at with Solo and Jacob. It seems like we're not going to get a match between them just yet. Like a big one at a PLE, but I do expect to see something like that very soon. Now we have a we have a video package from Naomi, our recently turned heel queen. Now, this was an amazing video package, okay? It was giving villain origin story, and I'm obsessed, okay? She was talking about how in the video package, she said that she's the woman to always do the right thing. And she said that she sacrificed so much just for Jade to walk in and steal in everything from her. She said she's done playing nice and it's time for a change. She also said that when Jade tries to come for her, she better proceed with caution, which we know has been kind of her little gimmick in this heel run. She's been wearing like caution tape gear, so I don't know if that's something she's going to continue with, but she said to proceed with caution. And I really do love this heel run for Naomi. It's something fresh, it's something different, it's believable, and I think it has a lot of potential, and I'm so excited to see where we go from here. It seems like the crowd's really responding well to it, so I really do love that. Next, we had even more drama. I mean, because this is WWE, that's what it's all about. So we had Charlotte Flair versus Michin. Now, during Michin's entrance, Naomi came out to attack B-Fab and Michin from behind and started literally wiping them out, okay? And this is exactly what needed to happen after that video package, which I loved. Took action immediately, showing her dominance, and I loved it. But of course, this is what happens when you provoke somebody. Jade Cargill comes out. And so Naomi runs away runs away like the heel that she is and the coward she's supposed to be, which I love. And Jade was trying to help B-Fab walk her up to the ramp when the Queen Charlotte Flair came out. And Jade and Charlotte had this really intense stare off that gave me goosebumps everywhere, okay? They're teasing this future rivalry, which I think I can speak for all of us that this is something we all really want to see, and I'm so excited for it. Now, the match actually started. It was Charlotte versus Michin, and it was way better than I thought, probably because Charlotte was in it. And you guys know that Charlotte is not one of my favorites, but I do have to give her respect, and, you know, she is amazing. There's no denying that. She may not be my favorite, but she is a well-seasoned expert vet in the ring that just can take any match from 0 to 100. And I thought Michin did so well, and nobody recognizes her work enough. I mean, her presentation could be better, and maybe if it was better, you know, we'd be more interested. But in the end, Charlotte Flair won. Now let's go into Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. Now this was a PLE caliber match. And the fact that we got it on a little old SmackDown in London was crazy. Now, this was a great match, okay? Truly such fun action between these two vets. Now, Kevin Owens, towards the end, came out to distract Randy Orton. And of course, Drew McIntyre, being the smart guy he is, he used that to his advantage to end up winning the match. But after the match, Kevin started attacking Randy everywhere, okay? It was crazy. I mean, it got to the point where Randy was about to punt Kevin, but for the second time in a row, it didn't happen. And I actually don't mind this at all, because I feel like they keep teasing the punt so that when Randy finally does it, it's like this huge big moment. And my theory is it's going to happen at WrestleMania, which, you know, I'm so here for. But the next thing I want to talk about is huge. We've been seeing video packages over the last couple weeks teasing a certain somebody. We've seen them for two people, but we officially got word for one of them, and that is Rey Fenix is debuting next week on Friday Night Smackdown. I mean, I'm sorry. Gag? For those who don't know, Rey Fenix is Penta's real life brother, and they were the Lucha Brothers in AEW, and they were so dominant, so amazing, and like no words to describe how good they are, and especially Rey. Now, if you're a fan of Penta, you're gonna be an even bigger fan of Rey Fenix, because you guys know, if you watch my Raw recaps, that I have been raving about Penta since the day he stepped foot into the WWE. But guys, I know it's crazy to say, but I think Rey Fenix has better in-ring skills than Penta. And Penta is one of the best on the roster right now, but Rey Fenix is just notches above. And he is going to bring so much to SmackDown. He's going to be such an asset. And I mean, his work is untouched, okay? That's just what it is. If you haven't seen anything from him yet, I highly suggest watching some highlight videos on YouTube. You have a week to do so. You will not regret it. It is not time wasted. And honestly, I can't wait to see what his first match is, what his first rivalry, feud, like everything that we get into with Rey Fenix. I think it is going to be so good. And also, as far as the Lucha Brothers go, it seems like we're not going to get that for a while, since both are on separate shows, with Penta being on Raw, Rey being on SmackDown. So I'm sure we'll get that in the future. Maybe that's something we'll get next year, maybe like a Mania match. I don't really know. But moving on into the semi-main event, we had Jimmy Uso versus The Miz. Now, I want to say that sometimes people overlook mid-card matches, but honestly, I thought this one was pretty good, okay? I love Jimmy's high fly style of wrestling, while Miz is more on the technical / traditional side. And I think that both styles really clash really nicely. And I just think that they're so good. I mean, they're both vets, so they get the job done well. And also, both guys have really big personalities, and I think they really shine through during the match, and I just loved it. It was very simple, but it delivered, if that makes sense. And in the end, Jimmy Uso won. But now let's head into what we're all waiting to talk about, and that is the WrestleMania 41 Triple Threat contract signing. Now, this was Woo! This was insane. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. So Roman Reigns comes out, and the whole room, including myself at home, was gagged at his presence. Truly, every time that music hits, I feel like I am maybe about to die. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the crowd started singing. Instead of Cody Rhodes' song, they sang Roman. So they were going, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns. It was like a whole thing. But the thing is, they wouldn't shut up. And I was like, okay, what are we doing here? But like, I was obsessed. And Roman last night was the most unhinged, unserious version of himself that we have not seen in a very, very long time. Okay. And the crowd, I mean, just literally wouldn't stop. And he said that the way the crowd was singing to quote their tribal chief was just beautiful. And then this part made me piss myself truly. I literally could not contain my laughter at this point. Then Paul Heyman started singing the song. Roman put the mic up to him and he started singing. And I just literally couldn't control myself. I was laughing so hard. But then after all of that, Roman finally signed the contract. But right after he signed the contract, Seth freaking Rollins. Oh, well, actually, I guess he's not Seth freaking Rollins anymore. He's just Seth Rollins. Because if you guys saw, they removed nicknames from the website. So now they're not calling them nicknames anymore. So they're not calling Seth freaking Rollins. They're not calling Bronson Reed Big Bronson Reed anymore. It's really unfortunate. They don't got nicknames anymore. But you know what? Seth Rollins came out. And then immediately, they went back and forth, Roman and Rollins. And, oh my God, these two are going to give me a headache one day. But what makes me laugh is that Seth is low-key, like, he has so much love for Roman still, whether he wants to admit it or not. But it's definitely not reciprocated from Roman, which is bittersweet as a OG Shield fan. So Seth said that it's the me mindset that Roman has that forces him to always have to screw him over in matches. That's Seth's excuse. He said that their biggest mistake is not killing Punk at War Games when he had the chance to. And one thing I find so funny is that Seth really is just putting Punk over any chance he gets because he's like, oh, he's this big guy and he's this big scary guy and he's going to kill us and all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, this is all in your head, buddy. All in your head. But then after that, say his name and he appears, not Joe Hendry, CM Punk. So CM Punk comes out and he said that he came here to chew bubblegum and to sign a contract. If you guys saw, he was chomping that gum when he said it was clobbering time. So Punk was taking his sweet time to read the contract, flipping through every page. Roman was getting super, super impatient and was like, buddy, it's on page 4. Hurry up. Like, okay, let the man read. You clearly didn't read. Let the man read. So then Roman sent Paul to comfort him and just tell him what to do. So Paul went over to Punk. And when this started happening, Rollins was crashing the freak out. It was so funny. Mans was literally not even speaking English. He was just literally having a crash out moment. It was so funny. Then Punk said thank you to everyone who chanted his name for 10 long years. Then Roman said that you shouldn't thank anybody but your tribal chief. Punk said the most unserious thank you, Roman. But the big bomb that he dropped after he signed the contract at the end is he said, well, actually, let me rewind a little bit before I even get to this part. Paul Heyman told him that yes, you are getting to live your dream. You are closing the show. CM Punk is main eventing WrestleMania. I'm assuming night number 1. And that was the biggest gag of all time. But here is the bigger gag. Punk said, quote, but that wasn't the favor I was owed. And when he said that, you have to pay attention to Paul Heyman's face because he made a face like crap. Like you weren't supposed to say that. Like, dang it. Like, oh my God. I'm sorry. That's very sus. That's very sus. So in my head, now I'm thinking, okay, if that's not the favor, then what is? If getting to the main event of WrestleMania was not the favor, then what is the favor? And now I'm thinking, okay, Punk and Heyman are plotting with each other against Roman. I have been saying for weeks now that I feel that Paul Heyman is going to turn on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. And maybe the only thing I can think of what this favor could be is that Punk wants Paul Heyman in his corner again. He wants him to be his right hand. I can't simply think of something else that it could be. Maybe something to do with the championship, but it has to happen at WrestleMania 41. So I don't really know what it could be. And honestly, the cliffhanger at the end, because that's literally how they ended the show. Attitude and walked off. That was it. Oh, it was just crazy. Okay. It was just crazy. But let's get into my overall thoughts. I thought it was a really solid show. My match of the night was, surprisingly, the Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly. Sometimes my matches of the night isn't necessarily the best quality match per se, but simply just the one I enjoyed the most. And I honestly was freaking obsessed with this match. Then my segment of the night was none other than the main event segment for the triple threat contract signing at WrestleMania 41. So much continuous drama, and the cliffhangers have me on the edge of my seats. I cannot wait for Friday Night Smackdown next week to see what is going on, because I am gagged, okay? Also, I want to shout out SmackDown's brand new ring announcer, Mark Nash, aka Mark Chinook. I made a whole video about him yesterday on my Instagram and TikTok, so if you want to go check that out to get all more information on him and where you might know him from yesterday, you can go check that out if you want to. But for it being his first day, I thought that he killed it. Obviously, he has a background in hosting and announcing, so obviously he's fit for this role, but I love him so far, and I think he's doing great. Also, I want to note that next Monday Night Raw is the final international show until mid-August. So it will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Pacific for all U.S. residents, streaming exclusively on Peacock. So overall, I rate the show about an 8 out of 10. Pretty high rating for SmackDown consistently. And, excuse me, I am just excited. We have so much to look forward to. I think WrestleMania is 21 days away. So we've got a lot to talk about in the coming weeks. And I mean, last night was just a gag and a half. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode of Champion the Passion. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms, and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.